So yeah, just going to go through what HIM are and what exactly we've done in Irish research, and indeed a little bit of what we've done on Europe as well too. So my name is Aidan Duffy. I'm the Client Development Manager for Ireland, and we are Harris International Marketing is what HIM stands for. So effectively, we are a UK business, but now in the last number of years branched out to Europe and to Ireland. I don't have the clicker with me, unfortunately. Oh, sorry. Beg your pardon. So yeah, HIM effectively are a shopper insights research consultancy, part of the William Reed Group, who you might know from the grocer. We are effectively the voice of the shopper. We speak directly to the shopper, predominantly in convenience, but also in the wholesale markets, also in convenience and in multiple as well too, by country and by fascia as well too. So HIM, in essence, have been around for about 50 years. We've part of the William Reed Group now, as I said. We currently speak to about 100,000 shoppers per annum across Europe and the UK and Ireland. Again, speaking to the main retailers, so we speak to anyone from Quick Carrefour, Ireland, we speak to Centra, Spar, etc. And it's really developing their understanding of their shopper insight. So effectively, what we ask is actually where they actually sit, like where the customer actually is in the decision process. So for instance, what actually drives them to store and what actually brings them to store, what's their decision behind actually making the effort to go into store, then following on from that, understanding their behavior and their attitudes in the store, and then advising from that the retailers and seeing what actually they can change for their next shop and whether they get repeat purchase and loyalty from the customer. How we differ from a research agency that you might be more aware of, like a Kantar or Dunnhumby, we effectively look at the why instead of the what. A lot of the data that Kantar and Dunnhumby would look at is very much sales-based data, but they're not actually looking at the small basket data, the actual convenience shopper, what they're actually looking at in terms of, you know, their actual thoughts, opinions, and behaviour and ranges and categories. So it's quite a bit more in depth and more kind of shopper focused. So as I mentioned, we currently have launched 8 country researches. So again, quite strong in terms of actually understanding the retailers and actually helping support export from both Ireland and UK and other countries. We're actually launching our new research at the beginning of October, which will then broaden out to 15 countries, which include China and some countries from the Middle East as well too. So on Ireland, our most recent research has showed that Ireland is the #1 in terms of actually retailer, a convenience store visitor, with at least 80% of people have said that they actually visit a store over the course of a month. Again, we're looking at differences in terms of actually UK and Europe here. So we see that predominantly the Irish consumer is a female. She's an affluent female at that, works full time, and is from a higher affluent class, as I say. Quite a broad mix in terms of where she shops. So she's either a city dweller or a rural dweller, and it's quite an even spread between the 3 lots. So again, we're quite high in terms of actually how we perform against the UK and a lot of those differentiators too. So predominantly what we're seeing from the Irish customer is the experience in store. The store friendliness is still key for the Irish consumer. What they're looking for is also value for money, and a big difference in Ireland to other research we looked at was brands are very trusted, and loyalty towards brand is key, and people will actually shop at stores making sure that their brands are there and repeat purchase from that store. Again, speed of service. A consumer would spend no longer than 5 minutes in store at any given time, which also is an impact on actual supplier and also the store themselves. Availability, as mentioned, is key, with 28% of our respondents saying that if they haven't got their product within those 2 visits, they will not return to that store. So again, that's what retailers need to think on, and actually what actually drives those customers and what actually is products that they're looking for. So again, there is a number of barriers within convenience, and a lot of what we come up against is certainly the health aspect. Health is key, but they don't believe that there's enough healthy produce available in convenience stores. As you see there's 27% of our respondents said that's quite low in terms of actually what you get in health. Health turns out to be our 4th most requested product from convenience stores, and a lot of the Irish stores are just not seeing enough of respondents are not seeing enough of healthy products in store, or at least they kind of substitute healthy products for what they perceive as to be healthy. Again, Irish convenience stores are quite expensive. 46% said that this is probably the most expensive, and that again is a lot higher than our European counterparts. And again, promotions is quite important too. Promotions, 1 in 4 of our respondents have said that promotions aren't relevant to them. So convenience stores, from our research, have showed that there's not enough kind of relevance to the people who are shopping in convenience stores. So like I mentioned before, the female shopper, the more affluent shopper, as I mentioned. Again, other kind of responses that we've gotten about convenience stores is the actual ease of order. So like I said before, the average person spends about 5 minutes in store, but there's a lot of frustrations actually getting that product. We saw that a lot of the stores are underperforming, where store visitors will have an awful lot of say visits before they actually get a product that they want. So stores kind of look at that as an option. Again, inspirational kind of category ranges. A lot of what we're seeing is there hasn't been much difference in change in terms of ranges from the last year, from actually what they've seen throughout the course of the year. And that's, again, more of a health-conscious customer reflecting that back to us too. But there are some positives. And again, as I mentioned, Ireland has done very well in terms of actually friendliness of staff. Again, our quality of services is quite strong. Again, a European leader in that. And also a lot of the quality products that we do produce, again, if you can probably think some of yourself, like some of our forecourts are fantastic, and actually the food to go offering. So there's some positives there too. But again, room for improvement. A lot of people are still going to a supermarket to get most of their shops. A lot of people are also saying that there isn't enough healthy options, 1 in 3 as mentioned. And again, promotions aren't actually relevant to some of the people that shop in convenience. But what's changing, and it's changing across the board, is actually the difference in actually how people are eating. So now it's more of a food for now as opposed to food to go, is what we're looking at more so now as a consumer. Food for later, and now is equated into a meal for tonight, and food for tomorrow is kind of turned into a top-up shop. So we saw that in our research too. Again, health is a key trend, and health actually is pretty much driven throughout our research that we looked at. 1 in 3 customers saying that health isn't relevant, or at least the health product isn't there that they're looking for. Quality of fresh produce, although it's improving, it's still not in terms of actually our other European counterparts. So you can see there as low as 30% on the actual most important range. Again, we're about average in terms of actually health production, in terms of actually health produce that's available in convenience stores. But again, there's also room for improvement there too. So the question for a lot of retailers is a numerous one. So what is actually to focus on for the future to get convenience right? Yes, there's a health dynamic, but also is there actually an interest in actually having that and actually making that work? And what actually is behind the actual consumer shopper themselves? So what missions are these shoppers on? So effectively, are they just on a health mission, or is it like they're a health mission for a reason? So is it an occasion? Is it a top-up? Is it a stress shop? So again, it's trying to find that answer out for retailers. Again, competition is quite rife, not just in Ireland. We've got over 10, 15 fascia now currently in the convenience market, and ever growing. So again, what differentiates a convenience store, and what differentiates you as a convenience shopper as well too, and what you can offer going forward? We have some kind of ideas of what we're seeing across the markets coming up. Again, it's important to understand what the shopper is actually looking for. And again, as I mentioned, food to go is quite critical, and actually understanding that food to go mission too, which we have some examples as well. So this is where I've kind of seen good examples of where companies have gotten it right, and that's across the board. I think I mentioned further on how convenience and our food service and retail are quite emerging. So there's a lot of blurred lines in between. So a lot of food service companies are doing quite well in terms of actually offering that convenience solution. So say for instance Starbucks and how they've actually changed their missions. The likes of Chopped and their kind of partnership with Maxwell is a good example in Ireland. And also the artisanal movement, how that's actually in growth in Ireland. There's actually huge opportunities for retailers and convenience to work alongside that and actually develop their actual offering as well too. Again, we're looking at also how supermarkets are changing and how people are using their own convenience store and discounters as supermarkets as well as also just being more easy accessibility to food as well too. So the likes of Deliveroo, the likes recently of a launch of the Amazon Dash in the UK, that's just shown how it's just like reducing that time shopping, reducing that thought process around shopping. I think that's where convenience stores in Ireland need to get to. So again, as I mentioned, some of the forecourts are getting food to go right. And we saw that in some of our research as well too. So again, branded coffee is quite strong. We just saw Tim Hortons has announced their launch in the UK. It's already launched in Ireland to great success, and they saw that the actual growth of coffee to go is a huge market for them too. Again, when we're looking at convenience store, we're looking at what people are actually looking to do. A lot of people go to food to go, but they don't actually have that option to sit down and enjoy it. So there's actually looking for more of a destination shop within a convenience store now, more so than ever. We're starting to see that again with the likes of Maxwell and Mulhuddard and say Centra in central Dublin. But again, there's more of a necessity for that, and to bring that into the mainstream for a lot of the convenience store, as well as Wi-Fi as well too. A lot of our respondents said there just isn't enough access to Wi-Fi. A lot of our rural respondents would have said that too. So it's a really interesting insight in what could potentially be the future for convenience. Again, looking at food to go, as I mentioned before, the blurred lines of actually what actually is happening during the day. So as I mentioned, food to go it turned into food for now. Top up is changing as well too. So again, actually giving that offering of actually saying, right, well, we can actually offer you a solution that's breakfast, dinner, lunch, and people like encourage repeat shopping from those customers. So like finding out what that solution is quite key to the retailer as well too. Again, we're seeing a lot more customization of actual, say, respondents as well too. They're looking for that customization, looking for that tech kind of like piece to actually their experience of convenient shopping. So click and collect is being commended as a very good kind of example of how it's making shopping and eating more easier, I guess. So that's actually where we see the more kind of emphasis and the more utilization of technology within convenience stores is quite key. So again, another one is Meal for Tonight, and Meal for Tonight itself, from our respondents, is one of the leading visits for convenience stores. But we've noticed that a lot of the respondents would rather not do a lot of actually cooking for themselves. So they're just kind of looking for that solution and looking for convenience to offer that solution. So 29% of our respondents saw that an evening meal with minimum preparation was the ideal. And that's actually higher than most European respondents. So again, there's a huge emphasis on getting that right for Irish customers. Again, minimum kind of effort in terms of actually making it easier for the customer, making it easier to find as well too. And there's some strong examples in Ireland where we're getting that right. But again, the consumer is looking for more of that. So yeah, as I mentioned, there's a lot of cross-border boundaries together. So say, for instance, there's a lot more emphasis on the deliveries and Just Eat of the world. The question is for convenience retailers, how is it actually to get that right? And again, it's just making it more easier, more convenient, more relevant to them, and actually offering a quality solution, which is key. And that's what our respondents have said too. So again, this is the last one. So yeah, again, our prediction is actually the understanding that the branding works, and actually branding within convenience store works. So not just concession stores, but actually developing product ranges with specific brands, and retailers are slowly starting to do that in convenience. Again, solution-led, again, offering the actual path around the actual convenience store to actually pick up different items I would need to actually make the convenience shop a bit more easier. And also then understanding there's different people who actually shop in the store. So actually catering for all those needs, whether it be a millennial who's looking for, quick coffee to go fix, right up to a professional who's looking for a meal for tonight, things like that. So actually finding out understanding your customer in a little bit more detail to actually offer them a solution that is quick and easy and gets them to come back, I guess. Thank you.